Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, December 22nd, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I decide to empower my personal integrity. And here we are, as I'm recording, we have not quite moved into Capricorn, but probably by the time you're watching this, the sun will be in Capricorn or at least be very, very close to Capricorn. So today we're going to dig into Sun in Capricorn, what that means. I got some solstice antlers going on because technically solstice is moving through December 22nd as well, as it is part of the day where the sun is moving into this Capricorn energy. It's an interesting day because we have the sun entering Capricorn and meanwhile Mercury retrograding back into Sagittarius. And there's no accidents. This crisscross is very purposeful. Before the crisscross happens, we have the sun and Mercury conjunct at 0 degrees Capricorn. 0 degrees is a degree of transformation and empowerment. So it's like we have this moment in this crisscross to decide. It's a big button energy with this, to decide how we are going to go forth. In some ways, this solstice energy actually feels like the beginning of New Year. Even though there's still shenanigans to finish up in 2023, this is the conception. This is the conception of 2024 energy that we want to bring in. So I actually got a new deck today. I love ordering decks off Kickstarter, supporting somebody's art and dreams, and this deck is very solsticey. So I love that it arrived on the solstice. It's called The Wild Way. And I decided to pull a card to support the reading. And the card is Time to Decide. I thought I was going to pull the solstice card, but this is perfect. Let me show you the back. It's so pretty. This is perfect. Time to decide. Because that's one of the energies of Capricorn. Capricorn is where we decide to follow through on the excitement that Sagittarius bring, on the inspiration that Sagittarius brought through. Capricorn's like, okay, I decide. I'm going to take these physical steps and I'm going to go for it. And that's part of that integrity, to live in accordance with the inspiration. I think integrity ultimately is to live from the soul. And with Capricorn energy, we have this calling to live our purpose, to live the mission. And that's what the soul is like, always kind of like guiding us back around into. So, Sun in Capricorn, are we living in integrity? Are we honoring the soul more so than society? Now it's interesting because Capricorn can get very lumped into conditioning and society and the shoulds and the American dream, all of that stuff. And yet Capricorn in its truth is all soul. It's mission. It's purpose. It's divinely orchestrated. And we want to come back around to that energy of Capricorn. Now, what I love about this transit of the sun in Capricorn is that it is highlighting one of the last little go-arounds of Pluto in Capricorn. This is actually our last time that we're going to have the sun and Pluto in Capricorn at the same time, for the next 30 days. The sun and Pluto are going to leave Capricorn together and move into Aquarius. So this is your time to get and to understand your Capricorn energies and decide to align with soul, decide to align with purpose. Now, let me be fair and say purpose is not just, I have to work 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to say it's not that. Sometimes our jobs align with our purpose, but your purpose is to be your truest you self. It's to stand in the authority of you, knowing yourself as this God-created being, and decide to show up every day being your big, badass soul self. So keep that in mind for Sun in Capricorn. And watch where the shouldiness, watch where the conditioning, watch where, well, this is what society wants and expects from me, comes up. You have the authority, and you can stand in that energy. You can stand in that power. Hello, Pluto. So like I said, the interesting thing of today is the Sun and Mercury conjunct. That's going to be 10:54 a.m., 0 degrees. Mercury's preparing to retrograde back into Sagittarius, which it will at 10:17 p.m. Pacific time. So we can review some of those excitement layers. So we can review the direction, the vision, the inspiration, and make sure that it's aligned, a course alignment, right? So that's beautiful and purposeful. But this connection, this passing by in the solstice magic, recognize that anything you decide today, the universe is whispering, as you wish. As you wish. As, tripping over my words. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. As you wish with this. But then it is up to you to stick with that decision and to follow through in integrity. Follow through not just with your words, but with your deeds, with your actions, with your thoughts, with your steps. And of course, there are always times that we stumble. That's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that you're out of integrity. It's a learning lesson. But to try and stay on that task as best as you can. So here we go, engaging our purpose on purpose. We also have the moon in Taurus, very earthy energies. And the moon in Taurus is connecting with Jupiter and reminding us you are worthy of this big, badass soul life that is seated within you. You are so worthy of it. As the moon goes through, you may have some areas where you don't necessarily always feel and agree with that. And it's up to the Astro and you to work and move through it. So it is time to decide. It is time for the caterpillar to shift into butterfly energy and make your way forward. I was looking at that. I was like, is that Gemini? There's like a little Gemini thing and a 3 there. So I was like, is that numbers or is it Gemini? Let's look at these other cards. Oh. All right. So we're not necessarily there, right? We don't necessarily trust the process. And yet we have a vision of what that eye of the tiger is taking us to. Trust comes along. You know, sometimes we have to be in the lack of the trust. Sometimes we have to be in the place of faith. I don't know that faith and trust are entirely the same thing. We have to be in the faith. Faith it. I don't like fake it till you make it, but I do like faith it till you make it. So faith it till you can find that place of trust in yourself as part of the universe. Trust in the universe in and through this. We've got a little indecision going though. And that indecision could be some of the shoulddiness. It could become some of society's needs, wants, demands, bills, taxes, money. That can be stressful when we are trying to lean into our soul selves. And I acknowledge and recognize that. And I think a lot of my trust issues come from that. Like, okay, well, I want to be me. I'm ready to be me. How do I pay my bills being me? I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way, and I trust and I faith that you can and will too. We've got some shadows to look at. We've got the fighting energy. That might be some mental jargon, kind of like the schizophrenia card, and some things that we're holding on to that are keeping us from fully faithing it till we make it. It's keeping us from living that integrity path. So watch out for those coming up. Again, these stumbling blocks, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something right. You are reaching these energies and being able to move through them. Now, last thing, Sun and Mercury together is shenanigans. I expect the Mercury shenanigans to probably creep up today. So breathe, have patience. Joe was listening to a song the other night, He's learning to like country. Living in Arkansas is shifting him. He's learning to like country. And he was listening to a song called This Ain't Nothing. And a lot of the Mercury shenanigans, for the most part, is This Ain't Nothing. Like, when it comes down to what really, 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 really matters, it's not usually the shenanigans. So, keep that in mind for today. You can book a reading. If you want a gift certificate for somebody, please message me sooner than later. Because it takes a little work for me to make those up. But please, by the 24th, order that. I think understanding yourself on an astro level is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give somebody. Besides all this, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And remember who you are. Namaste.